today me and Katie thought it'd be a good idea to kind of talk about some common fitness myths and misconceptions.
I got a lot of good feedback about the trendy diet thing, so I thought, why not be a little bit more broad with that and dabble in some just generic myths that we've heard over the years. So just due to that feedback I got with the trendy diet thing, I thought this would be a great idea.
Yeah, it's for sure. I mean, like we talked about before, you've been around it long enough that some of these common misconceptions or myths, and same here. I mean, you hear these pretty often, and it's an innocent like belief that a lot of people have. Like, we're not calling people stupid for thinking this. It's
not
just,
at all, because it does look like, especially if the information is coming from social media, a lot of these influencers and whatnot can make it look very good and believable. So the reason why we want to talk about this is so that we can debunk it for you and give you the truth,
Yeah. What you got number 1 for us on the list? Katie.
The bulky look.
Yeah.
That's something I hear about all the time from females. And I am also like, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I wonder how many clients that I've missed out on because of being more bulky as a female.
Well, Allie too. Allie's in the same situation. She truly thinks that's why a lot of people don't come to her.
They don't want to look like us.
Because she's offered to have consultations with people on Facebook. Hey, message me if you want to have a sit down consultation. And yeah, you're right. Like, how many people think like, gosh, the girl's smart. I love watching her win and she's awesome, but I don't want to do that. I want to look like her.
Yeah.
But they don't really know the advice she has could help amplify you so much.
It took us
too.
Yes, it took us a long time to get the bigger muscles. It's not something that happened in a year. This happened over multiple years and lots of time and preparation, and genetics
play a role.
Thank God.
You talk about your mom all the time.
My mom has gifted me the most beautiful shoulders. Thank you. But no, I do. I think about that often, like how many women have not used me as a coach because they think that they're going to end up looking like me. Yeah. I was somebody who had, upwards of 35% body fat on top of a bunch of muscle. I did look bulky. I did look big, but sitting at, having that muscle mass sitting at 147 pounds, I think it looks great. Pretty much the myth is that if you lift weights, you will get bulky as a woman. That is very untrue. There are a lot of factors that go into play, and it's basically just too much body fat on top of muscle mass. That's what gives you that bulky look.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if you had the genetic predisposition that, you're already like wide shouldered and like you got some tomboy genetics going for you, like, yeah, like there's probably a little bit higher chance that if you start weightlifting really, really hard for a couple of years, you might get a little bit more broader than you look. But most women don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Most women don't have tomboy genetics and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think just, that people see somebody like myself or Allie and they're like, oh, well, she works out and does lifting and all that. So I probably shouldn't do that because I don't necessarily want to have that much muscle mass. So when in actuality, the shape that all the girls want is by having muscle mass. So I can guarantee you probably don't have as much muscle mass as you think you do. So you should be working to build it so that when you lose your fat around there, you have this beautiful shape.
Yes. And if you missed the episode that we've recorded a week or two ago, Muscle Building 101, that's a great episode to dive into if you have questions about how to build muscle as a female.
I love that episode. Very good information. If you're somebody who is looking to build muscle, you definitely need to listen to that one.
Yeah, and I agree. Muscle for any human, male or female, is like the fountain of youth. First of all, like even if you're not talking about it from an aesthetic standpoint, it's literally like the fountain of youth. It's like does so much wonders for your metabolic health.
Yes.
I'm not talking about like huge amounts of muscle. Just if you put on just 2 or 3 pounds of new muscle, skeletal muscle on your frame, that's going to do wonders for your health.
Yes. So it's
metabolic.
Not just in regards to how you look. Yeah. There's a lot of other things in your life that having muscle mass can affect. So it's not just in regards to how you look. There are a lot of other things.
For sure. What do we got next?
I've heard this probably since I got into fitness so long ago. Frequent meals speed up your metabolism.
Yes, that's how I was taught when I first got into it.
I was taught 2.5 hours every 2.5 hours you need to be eating. I like to do that. I think it is helpful to do that.
There's some, what do you call it, merit to that?
Yes.
There's some.
But not for the reason of it speeding up your metabolism
Right.
per se. Like, I think, overall that's just more of your total calorie intake and the macros. But eating every 2.5 hours is not going to speed up your metabolism. Definitely not.
Yeah. So, like, I guess the benefits of eating every, like, 3 hours would be to help you stay on track with your protein.
I definitely agree that there are reasons to do it.
Yeah.
I'm somebody who eats very often. I also think you should eat a good bit of protein at every meal. You shouldn't do it thinking that that's what's going to speed up your metabolism.
Yeah.
Protein does have the highest thermic effect of food, which we talked about in another episode. So eating good protein, like they do talk about how that speeds up your metabolism. It just takes more to burn it. But it's overall what you're doing over the course of time.
Yes. So whether you want to get, if you're talking about 2,000 calories a day, if you want, and you're talking about, 150 grams of protein or 200 grams of protein, if you want to get in 1,000 calories for breakfast and 100 grams of protein, and then you wanted to not eat again until dinner and do 1,000 calorie dinner and another 100 grams of protein, that's totally up to you.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work for me.
I definitely don't recommend you do that, but I think the point of this is if you're somebody who cannot eat every 2.5 hours, don't feel the pressure to do so in the name of speeding up your metabolism. If it's only feasible for you to eat every 5 hours or however often, don't feel like you have to put that pressure on yourself.
Yes, and you actually just made me think of another angle at this. Another benefit of eating every 3 hours would be to maybe keep you from getting so hungry to where you do get like bingey.
I agree with that. I've been having a conversation about this with one of my clients. Yeah. She doesn't eat a very big breakfast. She'll eat like a protein bar.
Oh, yeah, and then starving later.
And then be wondering why she's having these behaviors at the end of the evening. And as somebody who, I also struggle with emotional eating, but if you're not eating a big breakfast, like for me personally, I can almost guarantee that I am going to end up binging that night. So like if I don't eat every 2.5 hours or ever so often, I'm going to binge.
Yeah, look at your patterns. Like if you see yourself like really struggling at a certain point of the day, like when it hits, like you find yourself getting really snacky around 2:00, after lunch, or maybe it's in the evenings when you get home. Yeah, like you may want to switch some stuff up. Like start having a really, really wholesome breakfast. 400 calorie. Breakfast with 40 grams of protein. How cool would that be versus just a little Quest bar?
It would be really great.
Or a protein coffee.
It would be so great for you. But again, it's not for the metabolism. It's just for the, say patterns. Your word. What's your satisfied word?
Satiety.
Satiation,
satiety. Yeah.
But it's more for that. So you just stay balanced. There's no hunger cues going off during the day, but it's not your metabolism that's speeding up. Just over time, it does help, but not on the daily.
Yep.
So, and then don't feel like you have to eat every 2.5 hours.
True.
I like to.
Me too. I mean, every 3.5 hours, 4 hours at the most.
Yeah.
I'm having some kind of protein something.
Yes.
Whether it's a Greek yogurt bowl with some berries and protein powder mixed into it, whether it might be a smoothie, it might be, it might be a rice cake with a couple of slices of deli meat on top, something. And it's just whatever.
Yeah, I'm the same way. 3 big meals and a couple snacks throughout the day. That's how I do it. Which leads us to protein absorption. That's something I remember hearing in the very beginning too, was that we only could absorb 30 grams of protein at a time.
This really gets on my nerves.
That gets on my freaking nerves.
I still have trolls on my social media chime in on the comments talking about how my advice is BS, that what a waste, because I recommend, or I'll tell people what I do, and I'll give an example meal plan. This has got 40 grams of protein. This has got 50, blah blah blah. And they'll chime in and say, "What a waste! You're just pooping out the protein. What a waste! You can only utilize 30 grams of protein at a time." And I'm like,
and then you go look at their profile and you're like, oh, I mean, it's just the truth. But I've heard that all throughout my career in fitness as well. It's really not that your body doesn't absorb all of that protein. It's just that it might not use it all for your muscles.
Yeah.
We have other reasons to eat protein, so you should probably eat the protein.
Bone density,
yes,
hair,
hormone production, energy, other bodily functions. So it's not just for your muscles. You need to eat protein for several other reasons. So 30 grams, you definitely can absorb more than that. It just might not go toward the muscle protein synthesis.
Yeah. Lane Norton actually did a video on this just a while back, and he talks about like, you know, as far as like, you'd have to do some major blood work and put somebody in a lab for like a week to figure out exactly how much protein that person can absorb at one time based off their size, their activity level, and
yes,
like, who cares? Like, but he said basically, don't get too caught up in the numbers. Just eat your protein. And he talked about post workout, like if you're killing a workout, you know, have a lot of protein afterwards. That's like, you're like a sponge.
You're just just check the box because it's like, you can check it.
So now, like, since I've read into that video he did, or research, like a lot of times my post-workout shake is like 60, 70 grams of protein. Like, that's crazy.
My post-workout breakfast is usually probably upwards about 50, 60 too. So like, crazy. I eat a lot right behind it. Why not just make sure?
Why not?
Yeah. And it keeps you full, you know, exactly. So you can definitely absorb more than 30 grams of protein at a time. Again, it might just be because you might not use all of that 30 grams or more than 30 grams for all of the muscle protein synthesis, but you still need it for other reasons.
That's it.
That's still a reason. There's still many other reasons to eat more than that at a time.
Yeah, people try to like out-science their self, like out of doing stuff.
It's overcomplicating it.
Like you're going to make your life more miserable buying into this concept of you only being able to eat 30 grams of protein at a time. I'm like, gosh,
I would love to know. I would love to know who said that first.
They probably did some study on some rats.
Yeah.
Like in like one cheap lab, and they documented it and put it out on the internet, and now everybody went crazy. And then some celebrity probably picked up on it and pushed it. That's usually what happens.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's the dumbest things just go viral.
Yep. What you got next?
I hear this one a lot, mostly from females. The fat spot or spot reduction of fat and toning.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do crunches and expect that your abs will show.
I see that a lot. I don't see it often, but I do. I mean, surprised. I look back and I'm like, man, you really got people doing a lot of crunches and a lot of sit-ups, thinking that's going to help shape up their
a lot of cardio, and they think that that's the answer to having the shape. The thing about doing a bunch of crunches, especially if you're not eating in a calorie deficit and you're eating a good bit of you're going to grow your stomach.
Yeah.
You are going to grow your stomach. So truly, abs are made in the kitchen. If you want to see visible abs, it's all just a product of being lean enough to do so.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Like, if you already have like a lot of belly fat and you're doing like a lot of like crunches, and especially if you start doing resistance, like weighted crunches, like there's a chance you may protrude out more.
Yes, you are going to give the illusion that your stomach is bigger because you still have that body fat on top of the abs that you are growing. Because I mean, if you strength train your abs, they will grow.
Yeah.
If that stimulus is there, they will grow. Do you ever do any ab workouts?
Not consistently. I used to, not enough to say I do abs. I do feel like at my age, I need to start doing more consistent like core work. And I'm a big believer in doing core work versus a lot of ab work. There's a difference, huge difference. And doing core work is a little bit more of a, I guess.
It helps your body resist force. So that's what your spine is supposed to do, is your abs are supposed to resist force, help you from falling over or being able to carry all your groceries in, versus exerting force, which is the way you would strength train them and grow them, that you're training them to exert force, whereas functional core, you're just training them to resist any force.
Yeah, but like you
could punch me and I wouldn't fall over because I'm so strong in my core.
Yeah, so
don't punch me. I don't want it.
I was like, man, I need to do that. But yeah, you look at back any of my photos where I've been super lean. What you see, that six pack and stuff, is not a. I can honestly say it's not from a lot of ab work. I mean,
what's it from, Keith? Your diet,
nutrition, and being consistent in the gym. Because honestly, when you're doing exercises like deadlifts and certain squat movements, and even something as simple as a tricep push down on a cable, your abs are super engaged.
Yes, so you're having to stabilize yourself to be able to do that movement. And
then, like I said, here lately, I've been doing more like unilateral, like suitcase kettlebell deadlifts.
Love that.
For keep that core tight. He's got anything offset like that, or farmer's carries, planks. And then,
Yes.
I may throw in some like a few abs, here and there, crunches and stuff like that. Cause it's just, I don't know.
I won an NPC show and never did a crunch through my entire training. And honestly,
you hear that a lot from pros.
I cannot remember the last time I was in the floor doing crunches.
Yeah.
So, I do functional stuff like carries and marches and just like, I do a lot of gorilla rows. I love gorilla rows. So all my clients do functional stuff. So again, abs are a product of lean body mass. Like you're lean enough to see them.
Yep. And I will say, Allie, she didn't do any abs ever. And, she got super lean for the first time, I guess, to get ready for the Roman. And she was kind of disappointed at how long it took or how lean she had to get before her abs started showing.
Yes.
And so she thought, hey, let's try something. So she did dive into doing some core work and some hanging knee raises and doing abs. Like she stayed dedicated to it for a year. She's noticed that now she's got a little bit more ab definition sooner.
Yes.
As she's getting ready for this show she's at now, which she's a week out. So in that case, the abs are just like every other muscle. They're gonna develop and get a little bit more blocky.
Yes, I am in the same boat. I want to grow my abs, so I probably will.
Yeah.
But to give them that bigger look.
So do it for that reason. Like if you're already lean and you want to be competitive, like if you're a competitor listening to this, or if like maybe me, you just want to get lean for summertime and you want to have a little bit more definition,
like three-dimensional
like army
abs.
figure, like action figure.
Yes.
Like you probably wouldn't hurt to throw in some abs, through the week and in combination with core work. But what we're saying is don't do abs and thinking it's going to burn.
Don't do abs thinking that it's going to make your abs show,
or burn belly fat.
If your goal right now is to lose body fat and you're new to the gym, I would definitely not be doing core, ab workouts. Do some functional core. There's a difference. Check it out on Google. There are so many exercises for functional core, and they're so much more fun.
Yes.
Fasted cardio. As a competitor, I feel like there are reasons to do fasted cardio. I feel like there's a mad scientist in Doug who had me doing fasted cardio, and I do believe in him wholeheartedly.
Yes.
As just the normal average Joe wanting to lose body fat, wanting to, build a little bit of muscle, not a competitive power lifter, whatever, it's not going to make a difference for you.
I agree.
It increases fat oxidation, and I think that that's important when it comes to bodybuilding or whatever competitive level athlete we're looking at. But for the average person going to the gym, I think that fasted cardio is a waste of your time and your efforts and your energy. If you like it, then that's great. You should do it. But I don't think that it equates to any more fat loss.
Yeah, so I do fasted cardio because I like the way it just makes me feel.
Yeah.
I just love getting up and just getting right to some movement and sweating and breathing hard, just on an empty stomach. Like.
You are just crazy.
And so I like the way it makes me feel. But now if I'll do my cardio and my weights in the same session, but I know that if I want to get a little bit more bang for my buck with weight training, I'll eat some carbs after my cardio.
I do the same when
right.
I do.
We talked about that, Rice Krispie treat or something like that, leading into weights, or some honey or some candy, whatever. Man, I keep all kind of little treats in my gym bag.
Yeah, so like the effect of your fasted cardio is pretty much gone, but you do it for other reasons. It's for your mood and for the way you feel. But once you eat that food back,
yes,
the fasted cardio is minimized at that point.
Something I want to bring up, and I wish they would have named body fat a different name than triglyceride, or fat that's inside your body, like in your blood, triglycerides. So here's where the confusion sets in. Fasted cardio does burn more fat as fuel, but it's not body fat. There's a difference. So there's fuel in your body. In your blood. There's triglycerides, and that's fat too. So yes, when you're doing any kind of fasted, when your glycogen's lower, your body's switching over to fat oxidation, burning triglycerides. The only thing
but that doesn't mean it's burning the subcutaneous fat on the outside of your skin. That's not the same thing. So
for the common person, the only thing that's going to control how much body fat you have is controlling calories, managing
Yes.
calories. Now, I agree with what you said. Now, when you get to a competitive level, when you're trying to get down below that, like 10% body fat, or, whatever it is for females. But like for me, and guys that are on a competitive level trying to get super, super lean, I do believe that there is some merit to fasted cardio and kind of tricking the body and pushing the envelope.
Yes, I agree. And I think
to get super, super, super lean.
Yes, and that's for competitive. That's above my
competitors
head.
only, yeah.
That's why I put all of my faith into my bodybuilding coach, and I listened to him, and he knew he was talking. You hear all of the bodybuilding athletes do fasted cardio, so there is some merit, there is some science behind it, but I can assure you, you're probably not in a position or that lean enough to really invest your time and energy into this. Just do your cardio and eat good, and you'll lean out.
Yes. And
don't overcomplicate it and overuse your energy if you don't have to.
Just like carb cycling. Like carb cycling for the everyday person is not needed.
No.
But for a competitor that's already been dieting for over 12 weeks sometimes, and your body gets adapted, you have to start pulling out these wild cards.
Yeah, there are
reasons. Like carb cycling, fasted cardio, working in different heart rate zones, different forms of cardio, higher carb days, lower fat days. You got to constantly kind of trick the body there at that stage when you're already super lean to keep pulling body fat out because they don't want to.
Yeah, your body's like, I don't want to lose that much of it.
But like I said, you need to make sure you hear this. I'm not talking for the everyday person doing that kind of stuff. A person that needs to lose 30, 40 pounds, or your everyday soccer mom don't need to be doing no.
If you're above 13% body fat, you probably don't need to be doing this.
No.
If you're not stepping on stage in the next month, you don't need to be doing this.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time and energy with the fasted cardio. Put your intentions behind a good diet, behind, doing some cardio, but
consistency.
Don't feel like you got to get up and do cardio unless you're like you and you just like it and it puts you in a good mood, then great.
Yes.
But do not do fasted cardio thinking that it is helping you burn more fat, more body
fat. I love
body fat. It's not helping you burn more body fat. It's helping you burn more of the fat in your blood. It's using that as energy instead of the glycogen.
And you guys, you look up this, like, I know you're listening to us and you trust us, but like, use ChatGPT, man. Use like PubMed. Like, type in what's the difference between burning fat for energy versus body fat while doing fasted cardio, and you'll see right there. It's plain as day.
Yes,
it'll let you know that. Yes, while we're doing fasted cardio, your body is technically using more fat for fuel, but it's not body fat. It's triglycerides.
Just like the glycogen in your muscles,
Yeah. Cool. What else you got?
I've been asked this often. I don't know if this is the case for you, but I've had people ask me about water intake, what's too little versus what's too much, because I was drinking upwards of 2 gallons a day when I was with Doug, and that was in bodybuilding prep. I don't think you need 2 gallons a day, but there was a reason I did as a competitive athlete.
Yeah.
I believe that if you were the average Joe person and maybe not in the gym, 64 ounces a day is probably the minimal. If you are somebody who is working out and you're strength training 3-4 days a week, you're doing cardio, you're staying high on the activity levels, then I would say a gallon.
Yeah, I agree.
120 ounces, 130. I just use a general rule of thumb as an ounce per pound that I weigh.
Yeah.
So a little more than a gallon for myself. But I think as long as you're getting like 100 ounces, you're probably hydrated enough.
Yeah. And I agree. That's really good, like, recommendations as far as just straight up, like, hey, this is probably what you need. I always tell people, like, pay attention to the color of your urine. Mm-hmm. It should be clear with a slight yellow tint, but if it's ever like golden or brown or whatever, that's a really good sign that you're
need to go to the doctor.
Yeah. I know some people's on different medications and stuff that's going to cause, different urine color. And of course, if I ever take some multivitamins, gosh, it's like glow in the dark yellow.
Yeah. Or eat asparagus, right? Asparagus, I feel like does that. But, if your urine is really dark, then you should know you're dehydrated. But I would say average person who doesn't lift or these 64 ounces, if you lift, try for 100 minimal, but go for a gallon.
Right. Yeah.
I would not exceed 2.5 gallons a day because why would you want to do that?
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, general rule of thumb is either, if you're kind of sedentary, like at least, half your body weight in ounces. If you're really, really active, then you might want to try to get an ounce per pound of body weight. But just pay attention to how you feel, how you're recovering, like how your sleep is, like that's always like a good time to kind of have a conversation with yourself and be like, you know what, like, man, I just don't feel right. Like my energy levels are low. I don't have enough energy. Like increasing your water could be a simple little fix.
I don't know about you, but sometimes I almost feel panicky. Like I can feel like just in my chest that I can feel the dehydration in almost a panicky way, and I'll just slam some water at that point. But yeah, I'm somebody who is a gallon a day.
Yeah. And how do you keep up with that, Katie? You literally you bring a gallon around. Right?
Now everybody's got me freaking out about microplastics now, so I'm gonna try to invest in a glass gallon.
Yeah.
But I'm also somebody who's out of sight, out of mind. If I'm using a half gallon, I'm not gonna drink more than that. So that's the only reason why I carry these around is because I can ensure that I'm getting a gallon. But I'm hoping to buy a glass bottle.
Yeah.
Stainless steel.
Yeah, definitely something to look into for sure. Like my plastic hydro jug that I use, even though it's BPA free, which now they've done studies to show that even if it says BPA free, it still doesn't mean it don't contain microplastic. That, so no matter what you do, you're just screwed, I guess. But either way,
we're just doing our best.
What I want to point out is, like I said earlier, you have people that will try to out science and out research and use fear to just not move forward with something. So like, I'm almost positive that staying constantly dehydrated is probably worse for you than some microplastics that could possibly be popping up and accumulating in your brain.
Thank you.
Over the course of 40 years, because they said they did autopsy on a brain of an 80-year-old and it had like the credit card's worth of plastics in his brain. Okay, like.
Yeah, so you're not going to drink water now because of that? Okay, so which one sounds, I feel the same way. It's like when people tell me, you can't drink ice cold water.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, there probably are things that go on, and I don't drink ice cold water. I know there's some science behind it. It's not good. It's not necessarily good. But so you're just not going to drink water because you can't drink it cold?
Right.
I would rather you drink the water cold.
Yeah.
Like, don't be silly like that. That's just silliness.
But yeah, I mean, as far as like, this day and age, I always tell people like try to control like what you can control. We can't live in a bubble. So like an easy fix would be just investing in a stainless steel or glass water jug for you.
Yes, that's what
an easy fix.
Yeah.
Like,
Amazon. I mean, I was looking around at Spartan today. I was looking for some hydro jugs.
I know.
Those are those plastic?
We just got shaker cups right now. We ain't got no jugs.
Yeah, I looked around. I didn't see any. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I've been looking at, I want to do a glass one, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. I'm very clumsy. That might not be the best idea.
I would go with stainless.
It's got to be bulletproof glass, like what they put on the car windows.
Yeah, they make all kinds, like titanium, like aluminum, maybe stainless.
Stainless steel.
There's probably different ones, but
yeah, I think there's a lot of solutions to that, and that's what we need to be looking for, solutions.
Yeah, so like biggest things with me is as far as the whole, I know this episode's not about microplastics. Maybe the next one can be. That's
Maybe
what we'll do.
It could be.
Hey, that's a good idea. We'll do some research on microplastics.
I'm almost scared to research microplastics.
Let's actually do that.
Okay.
Next
Deal.
one will be microplastics.
Deal.
And we'll learn a lot in the process.
And I won't have a plastic jug.
So y'all know what the next episode's going to be about. But I will leave it with this is like just use some like what I did in regard to that is I know I can't live in a bubble and I can't avoid all the microplastics, but one thing I try to do is try not to heat my food in plastic as much anymore, because I do have a lot of years of like, okay, I've been heating my food in plastic for so long, and now that this microplastic thing is kind of like a concern, what's the easy fix? So now I just literally, like, even if I purchase an ideal meal, I have a glass bowl at the store.
Yes.
I just dump it over into to reheat it. That's an easy fix.
Yeah, that's funny. I literally just bought stoneware so that I could heat my food up on a glass. I guess it's stoneware, whatever that is. I don't know what technically that's made out of. But I thought about that too. The other night I heated something up in the microwave and the bowl got really, 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 really hot. And then I thought about that and I was like,
too late. You don't eat that?
Well, I threw the bowl away. I did eat the food though.
Yeah. But you live and learn, and like, my stance on it is different now than it was like 5 years ago, because you first started hearing about BPAs and plastics, 5 or 10 years ago, and I was like, what bogus crap, it's just a marketing thing. But I do all I know is something is going on with the world that's affecting the endocrine system in humans, because historically, if you look back 100 100 years ago, our grandparents, my grandfather probably had testosterone levels over 1,000.
Yeah.
And heck, he's probably still at like 800, even at 80 years old.
Yeah.
Now you got 20-year-olds on TRT.
Yes.
And you look at all the evidence and what it could be, and I think it's not just one singular thing. It's collectively, it's what they're putting in the food, it's what they're putting in the water, it's the plastics, it's what's the air, it's the spandex material that dudes are wearing. I call them nut huggers.
Yes, no, you're right though. Holding your phone against your ear and up close to your brain, and like they're putting your phone. I see girls put their phone in the bra, right up against your boob. So, I mean,
you got
just all
dude wearing
sorts of
Under
things.
Armour. I don't know if Under Armour uses plastic type material, but they do studies where even the laundry detergent, like women that wear these thongs and stuff. If you're using some kind of like smelly good scented freaking fragrance detergent, that's going up in you.
Yeah, that's not good for your feminine health whatsoever. Actually, this is all very strange that you're talking about this, because I just started making my own laundry detergent because I just don't like. I'm starting to like read into things, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm afraid that when I get old, like despite doing all that I've done for my health, like just things like that are going to be what take me out.
So that's what maybe our next episode will be about. It will be microplastics and other things to be mindful of.
I love that. That's a good one. Yes. Okay.
Like just simple fixes, you can do that maybe you haven't thought about, because I know a lot of you guys listening are dealing with stuff like unknown conditions, like you didn't just wake up one day and decide to have Hashimoto's or thyroid issues or whatever.
PCOS.
It's stuff that's happened small and collectively through your life, and some of it's been unintentional, stuff that was out of your control. But what can you do now? Can you flip a switch and make it all go away? No. But there's some things I think you can be aware of that maybe you can work on moving forward, like what you're cooking with, what you're eating, what candles you have in your damn house.
I threw all my candles away too, dude.
You go to the car wash and you get these free scented little things that hang from your mirror. Guess what that is? Endocrine disruptor. Like, crazy.
So maybe we have some insight to some things that could help alleviate whatever it is you're struggling with. But I do think that's a good episode.
All right, we'll stop talking about it and save it for the next one. We're on a roll here.
We
got off track, didn't we?
That's okay. Not us. We never do that. Okay, this one's something I've heard a lot of. Can't eat past 7. I cannot eat past 7.
Yeah, I've heard
in
that
the name of weight loss.
Yeah, whether it's I can't eat past 7 or 8, or I can't eat carbs past 7 or 8, whatever. But yeah, it's mostly not eating too late. You're right, is what I hear.
Yes. Okay, so that's a thing because somebody just took it out of context, I think. The reason why people say you should not eat past a certain point is because of the digestive process. So like when you're trying to sleep, your brain's going to be disrupted because your body is digesting food.
Yes.
We've said this before. We'll say it again. You could eat literally every single calorie you have in a day. Like you could eat in one setting and you would be good.
And that's the thing. It's called, what's it called? 1 meal a day, OMAD.
I would never do that.
I got a buddy that does that.
Hey, whatever works, but I would never be able to do that. But yeah, it's not in regards to weight loss or anything like that. It's not in regards to anything aside from the fact that your sleep is just going to be disrupted. That's all.
No, and I'm living proof of that. So before I even got my Whoop band, and that's a game changer. I recommend everybody get an Oura Ring or a Whoop. It gives you so much more insights.
I've never heard about a Whoop.
Whoop, there it is.
What is a Whoop?
Oh, grasshopper, I got to teach you. You're still so young and green. I'm just kidding.
I know that song. I'm not that young.
No, so before I even got a Whoop, recovery sleep monitor, Allie would always know that I can't eat too late. I can't. In other words, when we go out on like a Friday or Saturday night, have a cheat meal, reward meal,
maybe a little
whatever.
date night. Yeah,
we would overindulge a little bit.
Yeah,
and then we're in bed by like 8 or earlier. So we would like have dinner at like 6 or 7, and I would like eat a little bit too much. Mm-hmm. I'm human. I do that.
Yeah,
and go home and wind down a little bit and then try to go to sleep. But dude, my heart rate would be up, my resting heart rate. And guess what? That's what it's doing. Like Katie said, it's trying to digest and break down all that food and fats.
Yes.
From the Mexican cheese dip or pizza or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I would have a hard time sleeping, and I'd always tell her the next morning. She's like, she would ask me, she'd say, "Did you have trouble sleeping?" I'd be like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And I think for a long time we we decided to start eating earlier. We
Yeah.
we would go have dinner at like 4.
Yes, no, that's what.
Yeah,
that's
if you're
where
gonna
I'm
have
at.
a big meal.
Yeah, Mark gets off at work at 4, and I usually have dinner ready right when he gets home from work, and it is better. I have a couple snacks,
Yeah.
but they're very light. You know, I don't eat if I eat a giant meal, I'm in the same boat as you. I do not sleep good. So that's what it is. It's just the digestion.
Yeah, and then to kind of tie in, when I got the Whoop band, it actually it told me I'm not crazy. Like I would wake up anytime, like everything's good through the week, right? It would say, yeah, you're recovering good, 80% looking good.
Yeah.
And then I'd go have like a reward meal or date night, and then my Whoop would tell me the next morning, dude, what'd you do?
I'd be like, whoa, what's going on?
I'd be in the red.
Really?
Like it'd say, I'd wake up to all kind of little alerts. Your resting heart rate was high. Your stress hormone was high through the night. Like it's crazy.
What was your resting heart rate? I'm curious.
So for a long time, it was around 59 to 63.
While you were sleeping?
Yes.
Okay.
And then like when I want to go have a cheat meal or something, it would be up like 79 or 80.
Ooh. Yeah, I bet you didn't sleep good.
So yeah, she's right. It's not that eating too late is going to affect like
weight loss,
directly fat loss and weight loss, but it can affect sleep quality, and that in turn can affect hormones and weight loss. So sleep
secondarily
it can. So,
but not directly.
As long as you're not getting too full, like right before bed, you're good. Like I don't care. You could eat a sweet potato right before bed. Honestly,
if I eat something too spicy before bed, I have really really crazy dreams. I think that's like a thing, spicy stuff and dairy. But yeah, I try not to eat too close to bed just because I like to sleep good.
Yeah,
but
as far as the carbs,
check into that thing. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I'll show you some insights. But even as far as carbs go, like there's studies that show some people, not all, can benefit from either eating some dairy before bed because it increases tryptophan, which is a calming hormone. And carbs do the same thing. Carbs actually can put off it can kind of lower cortisol levels, that's what you want when you're trying to go to sleep in the evening. So it don't affect everybody that way, but most people, if you look up some research, you'll see that either A, dairy, or B, a little bit of carbs before bed can actually help sleep.
That would be interesting to look into.
Check that out.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. I still hear this today. People not eating carbs and fats because it's going to make them fat. Yeah,
I think we're more on the carb make you fat now. I think the fat makes you fat was maybe a decade ago. You still hear it from time to time, but
yeah,
we're on the different boat now. I'm sure the fat make you fat will come back around in another couple of years.
Yeah, we'll see. I wonder when people are going to start saying it's protein.
As soon as some celebrity picks up on it,
I wouldn't put it past anybody to believe that. But yeah, so I hear as a trainer, carbs make me fat, fat makes me fat. I'm just going to make it short, sweet, and simple. Calories make you fat. Too many calories and overconsumption of calories is what is making you fat. It is not the macronutrients. It is an overconsumption of calories.
Yes, I agree. You got to have fats. For women, 30 to 40 grams a day minimum for hormones and all that stuff.
I'm eating upwards of 77 minimum grams right now. But yeah, so I think so often we think in regards to just the way our body looks. We're not thinking about the way it feels and the way it's functioning. So you need those other macros to make sure your body's functioning at its best. And then in regards to the gym, so it's functioning the best at the gym, you're the strongest you can be. So don't eliminate whole food groups unless somebody with a higher degree than I have tells you to do it. Yeah, and you're right. It's all a cumulative of calories from carbs, fats, proteins. Carbs have 4 calories per gram. Protein has 4. Fat has 9. I think alcohol's 7. But yeah, you dump all these in a bucket, and it equals total calories. Yes, and that is what is in control of the number on the scale. And
I will say this: depending on, so what if you're diabetic or insulin resistance? Let's say you truly have some high A1C numbers or fasted glucose numbers when you wake up, and you're insulin resistant, maybe pre-diabetic. Even those people can have the right amount of carbs, the right carb sources. There's people that's reverse diabetes with having the right carbs. It's not
because it's not the carbs from the Little Debbie's anymore. That's the carbs that do that.
Yeah. So it's having the right types of carbs and the right types of combinations. Like I would never just eat like a sweet potato by itself. You combine a sweet potato with like a protein source.
I'm stuffing some chicken in that thing.
Right, yeah. Like, it don't have the same insulin response as eating a carb source by itself. And that's what irks me about some of these social media people. They'll say eating a sweet potato is no different than eating a bag of Skittles. I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh, please.
I'm like, you're kind of right, but it's that's so misconceiving, because like,
that's like comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah, like, yes, they're both carbs. Yes, I guess they do ultimately break down as like sugar in the body, but what you're missing is like, okay, the Skittles are contain like no micronutrients, no fiber, none of the potassium and magnesium that can be truly healing. The sweet potato has the fiber, has the potassium, has all the good stuff that's going to do wonders for your life, your metabolic system, everything. Your body. So it's like, yeah, I mean, so they just tell you one little snippet to get views.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like the fear
mongering it. Yes,
fear mongering.
I think that's an excellent point to make too. There's a lot of other things to consider about it, and it's so funny because at that point it sounds like we're considering calories, but we don't want to talk about calories or what makes us fat, right? Yeah. So it's like you can't have both. But yeah, I agree with all of that. It's wild to me what people will say.
Yeah, and like I said, like, I mean, it'd be different if like if a person that was like insulin resistance was eating just like, I wouldn't want that person just eating a potato by itself.
Right.
Like that probably wouldn't do you wonders, but if you combine that with some chicken or ground beef and some veggies,
and they all work together,
as they're digesting, you're not going to have the same insulin response as you would if you just had just a freaking potato by itself. Like, who does that? Who eats
well, I could do that.
I mean, you could do that. I could do that. I don't.
If you had enough
that.
ketchup.
Yeah, like, I mean, so just know there's a lot more context around some of this stuff you see, missing on social media. Like,
yes.
You see the comparisons of like a handful of grapes and somebody holding a French fry from McDonald's. They're like, oh, it's the same. I'm like,
no, it's not.
I mean, it's like, gosh, there's so much missing context there.
Yes.
Because it actually showed that the grapes have more calories than the fries. Like,
oh, Lord, please
so
help us. Yeah, that's wild to me.
Yeah. It's
like there's so many other things to be eating healthy foods for other than just that,
Yeah.
I'm with you on all that.
It's all about balance. I mean,
yeah. And the protein and the carbs, they work together, and the fats, they work together through the digestive. I mean, starting from the minute they go in your mouth to the end, it's all cohesive. They all work together.
Yeah. What you got now?
Higher reps better for cutting. I'm tired of hearing this.
Feel that burn. That's that body fat melting.
No, I'm so tired of hearing that. If a lot of women would go into the gym and lift weights, I know I say women, men are not as hard to convince to lift.
No.
But if a lot of women went into the gym to lift weights with such intention and they worked on their diet, like, I can guarantee you that the higher reps is not where it's at. Can you get the stimulus you need for your muscles to maintain or grow with higher reps? Maybe. But it's proven that doing less reps, you're not going to reach that point to where you're just getting tired. Like, doing less reps is going to help you get to the point where it's your muscles that are getting tired, that you're hitting that stimulation. You're doing everything you need to do to make your muscles stay around or grow.
Yeah, like every now and then, like I'll call it wild cards. Like, I'll do something crazy, like once a week, every few weeks, I'll just do something like, you know what? It's been a while since I threw a wild card in the mix. Let's totally just shock my body.
Yeah, just do something different.
And I'll do like freaking 100 push-ups, or do like 30 reps on something and just totally shock my body. And the next day, guess what? I'm freaking sore as hell. Now, what do I do that every workout? No. I stay in that lower rep range, and try to work towards progressive overload and all that stuff.
Yeah. But the higher reps, it's harder to hit the point you need to hit with the mechanical tension for the stimulation.
So higher reps doesn't mean it's going to burn more body fat. Now, I guess higher reps, like if you're sitting there cranking out, like, especially, if you're doing some of these, like, I feel like we're not bashing group fitness, but like group fitness is a good example when you're talking about higher reps for time, and you got a group of people and you're expecting them to do dumbbell curls for freaking 2 minutes, sorry, that's going to be like 100 reps. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I guess that's good for mobility and like the older generation that's trying to like, but
yeah, and we talk in
that's going to burn
regards
more calories.
We talk in regards of building muscle mass or maintaining muscle mass. Now, if you're going to group fitness with the desire to just lose weight and you really want to lose a lot of weight, group fitness is wonderful. High reps are wonderful for that. Just getting your heart rate up is wonderful for that. Yeah. But if you're in a position right now where you want to grow or either lose body fat and maintain that shape, higher reps is probably not optimal for that.
Yeah, and I know not all group fitness is the same, and maybe that's where I'm going wrong sometimes. Is it's like a blanket statement.
Oh yeah,
fitness. Like I think that if a person like I know Jeff Holloway over X4, I think he's smart enough to know that there needs to be some balance. Like some of the group fitness classes probably do focus more on
the intensity,
weight training.
Yeah, there's a place in Calhoun.
Cardio. So.
Yeah. There's a place in Calhoun like that.
So just be mindful.
I posted that though. Did you see that the other day on my fitness page? I posted about Nancy and my mother-in-law, how she's come so far. And somebody got a little bit defensive with me about group fitness. And I was like, I didn't say that she didn't like it. I just said that, for her goals, she found that strength training got her there and group fitness did not. But she lost over 100 pounds in group fitness.
Yeah. Well, she lost the weight. Yeah. Like I said, it depends on your goal. Like,
we're not passionate by any means.
It's a freaking incredible thing. Like if I needed to just choose something to get me active and like takes the guesswork out, and I need to lose a bunch of weight, and I just heck yeah, sign me up.
Yes.
And I even still this day, like I'm actually considering, like I even messaged Glenn over X4 just last week saying, hey man, I'm actually kind of craving some like whoop my ass for an hour. Like, just takes the guesswork out. Make me do some running blocks on a treadmill because they got those cool free form treadmills. Like I'm kind of jealous.
Wear your shoes. I tried that sockless. Not a good idea. I'm also not a runner.
Yeah.
There's times where I will go do like CrossFit.
Yeah.
Or just do something different.
Yeah.
But it's the strength training that we're doing for the
so,
the not the high rep stuff, the low rep stuff for the muscle growth or maintenance.
I love that.
I do love CrossFit though. It's fun.
Yeah. So just know that high reps. If it's depends on your goals. If you truly want to like get more tone and put on more muscle, make body composition changes, then lower reps is where it's at. Higher reps, it's not going to target and burn more body fat in a certain area, like doing 30 reps on your arms,
ab crunches,
or abs, stuff like that. It's not going to really burn more body fat.
Yep.
We're going to close it out with which one? The creatine.
I feel like we got one more on this back page. Let's do this one on the back page because I feel like we've talked about creatine a lot and the bloated. I think more so we need to talk about the more sweat doesn't equal a good workout.
Yeah, we'll do that. And
because last episode we definitely talked about creatine a lot. So unless you want to touch it real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Creatine monohydrate. Honestly, I didn't realize there was a second page here. Sorry.
That's okay.
We're good though. We're still good on time.
Okay.
But yeah, creatine is like, I don't know how many times we've said this. It's like the legit, if I had to pick one supplement for people to take, men and women, I think creatine is now the unicorn.
That's
goat.
The one.
Yeah.
That is the one. It can cause water retention, but it's not like the subcutaneous water retention if you like have a really big sugary meal. So it's not the same as having that.
It pulls more water into the muscle cells.
And it makes you look yoked.
And it just helps performance, helps recovery, helps strength, helps everything.
If it's making you bloated too, I would definitely look into how much water I'm drinking. Am I consuming enough water while taking the supplement? I would say if you are taking creatine, please get a gallon of water a day. That's a good way to alleviate any bloat. So taking creatine, you're getting less than that in a day. That could be why you are bloated.
And I think I talked about this in the last episode we recorded, that Instagram clip, and it was genius the way she filmed it. And it has her in her kitchen throwing the tub of creatine in the trash because it says, the caption says day 4 of taking creatine, and the scale says up 1/4 pound. This is all the creatine. It's going in the trash. I knew this would make me gain weight. And I'm like, she talks about it in the caption. She's like, how funny is that? And that's how y'all act.
Yeah.
Like,
That's just silliness.
Like you could have been up a quarter pound anyway.
Yeah.
Without the creatine. It could have been what you ate. It could have been that time of the month.
Yeah, I've literally fluctuated in the last week of my life probably about 7 pounds. I was 143 last Friday, and then yesterday I was about 150. I mean, I'm at different points in my cycle, and there's so many things.
So,
please don't blame the creatine for that.
No.
Like you probably were up that much anyway.
Yeah.
It's not even that much.
No, and like with creatine, just know that you need to take it every day, 7 days a week. You need to treat it like a multivitamin.
Yes, and hydrate.
And it takes creatine a good couple of weeks to get kicked in fully. So make sure you stay consistent at it. Don't give up on it 2 weeks in just because the scale went up a little bit. Like really commit to it for like 6 months to a year.
That's what I was going to say.
Like legit. Like say I'm going to take it every day, no matter what. Give this awesome product a chance because it is.
Yes.
And you're really missing out if you're not adding that in. I don't care how old you are.
I don't care who you are, how old you are, what your goal is. I feel like everybody could benefit from taking creatine, even if they're not in the gym.
Unless you're eating like 5 pounds of red meat a day, you could benefit from taking creatine.
Yeah, agreed.
It's crazy.
I think some seafood has it too, but it's mostly red meat, steaks, and stuff like that. So if you're doing carnivore, you probably don't need creatine.
Yeah, you're right. You probably don't need creatine.
I'm just making jokes now. But okay, this one was a good one. This one was from you.
Yeah.
I didn't think about this one. More sweat does not equal a better workout.
Right. Yeah, people think that's what they gauge it on is like how much they sweat or whatever. So
I particularly remember being in high school and I had started gaining weight there toward the end of my senior year. And I remember thinking to myself that because I was in the tanning bed, I was probably going to lose weight because I was sweating.
Yeah.
No.
Dang, that's crazy.
No. So naive to think that. But, I don't. It's just your body's way of regulating your temperature. Sweating is not equivalent to losing body fat. It just means you're in a hot environment. Like I hardly sweat at all.
Yeah.
And then I have other clients, I have clients that I bring towels for, that they're sweating so much,
Yeah.
We are all different and it's really just a way to regulate your temperature.
Yeah. So just because you didn't leave the gym drenched in sweat, like don't beat yourself up. Like that's okay.
That's great. You are good. So it's fine. Yeah. I know that at my gym specifically, if I go and work out early in the morning, no sweat. If I go back to even just train a client in the afternoon, lots of sweat.
Is that because
it's more humid?
More humid?
It's more humid in the evenings. And, people have been in and out.
Right, more bodies in there.
Yes.
More just the temperatures outside's hotter. Yeah.
Yes. So to me, this would be the equivalent of thinking that because you're sitting in the sauna, you're burning calories, which, so it's not that.
No. So yeah. And just know that everybody sweats differently. Like, I mean, there's a guy, our gym that he does the bike every morning for cardio, and man, he sweats so much. Like I almost get jealous, but not really. This is like overkill.
Just too much.
Yeah. Like, sometimes like I wonder if he's like pouring water on his head and it's like dripping off into the floor because honestly
he's shooting a music video.
Yeah. Like most mornings when he's finished, I know this sounds disgusting, but there's literally a puddle in the floor around the cardio machine and it looks like a bucket spilt over.
Yes. A lot of people are like that.
Wow. He's got like really, really like open sweat glands. Like I hope he's drinking a lot of water because I'm kind of concerned. I'm like,
yes.
Like if like that's gotta be at least, no kidding, like probably 30 ounces of water spilled out. Like it would be no different if I spilled a 30-ounce water bottle.
Yeah, maybe at that point, if you're sweating that much, you might need to get it checked out. Yeah. But everybody does sweat differently.
So yeah, it's just depends on genetics and what you got going on. But yeah, don't gauge your progress or like your efforts put towards exercise based off sweat.
Now, if you like to sweat and that makes you happy, then that's a really good reason to go sweat. Yeah, after this, I'm going to work in the yard and I'm going to sweat.
Yeah, no, I like sweating. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think there's some now in not direct correlation with fat loss. I think there's some health benefits to like sweating and detoxing.
I was about to say detoxing.
Like infrared sauna or sauna in general, like high temps. Like there's studies shown whether it's a traditional sauna with hot rocks or infrared, there's some great benefits to that. So if you got access to a sauna, get in that a few days a week.
Yes, it's great for your recovery.
Right.
Great for many reasons.
Just make sure you're sipping on something with some salt. Mm-hmm. While you're in the sauna, you want to be replenishing your body with more than just water. Yes. Water alone is not enough. So put a little half a teaspoon of salt in their water, like pink Himalayan salt, Celtic, or Redmond's real salt, or
Element.
Oh, that's great.
That's always good.
Or sometimes I do crave just a freaking drench, like sweat session on like the stair mill. So I'll do something crazy like start sipping on black coffee and sip on it while I'm doing the stair mill.
You are a weird one.
And yeah, like you'll see many stories where I got a coffee cup from the Circle K while I'm doing cardio.
The coffee cup's not so weird. It's the fact that you desire to get on the Stairmaster and die. Like I'm just kidding. I do like getting on the Stairmaster. Sometimes I don't do it a whole lot. I don't do a whole lot of cardio just because my activity level is so high now.
Yeah. Well, you're training all the time and everything. Like,
I'm getting like 18,000 steps a day right now.
Yeah. See me, I'm at a point in my life where I have more of a office job, and like that's the first time ever. Like it just hit me like 2 years ago, like, oh my gosh, like I've been working my tail off since I was like 12 years old doing construction, in-ground pool work, landscaping, like getting in 20,000+ steps a day. Even when I was doing the stump grinding, having to walk through customers' yard, load up equipment, like no problem.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you're like
struggle
in an office setting. It's like, holy cow, like I really, really got to monitor and keep myself accountable to getting these movement snacks in, getting up and going for a 10-minute walk.
Yes.
Or, hitting my steps goal, even if it means going for a 20-minute walk at night with a headlamp.
Yeah.
Like,
You look down at your watch, it's like 2 o'clock and you've only got like 7,000 steps. You're like, oh no.
Or like yesterday when it was only like 4,000 steps
Oh
at 2
no.
o'clock.
Yeah. Well, see, I've been working at a restoration company behind the gym just to bring them a little extra. I've never worked so hard in my life.
Dude. Well, yeah, you're like
that's rough.
Pressure washing cars and stuff like that.
I feel like I'm a strong person. I've never felt a pressure washer quite that strong. I was really questioning whether or not I was strong enough to do it. I think they think I'm a 250-pound linebacker dude, and I'm like, I'm still only 145 pounds. But no, it is good movement, and I'm getting used to it. But yeah, just the activity level. Like I don't do a whole lot of cardio, but Stairmaster is a good way to sweat. If you're curious if you can even sweat, if you're somebody like that, then go get on the Stairmaster.
Either the black coffee, or I'll do something like the liquid Fireball, the L-carnitine liquid. It's got it's got an ingredient in it called grains of paradise,
and it's thermogenic.
Yeah, so it's stimulant free, but it's a thermogenic, which is kind of cool. So for people that are sensitive to caffeine but still want like a good like sweat that you would normally get from like taking a caffeine or a stimulant, you can take grains of paradise.
I'm going to have to tell my girl Steph about that. She is looking for something good like that. I'll have to bring her to the shop.
Yeah, we have the liquid Fireball, which comes in like the taller L-carnitine bottles, or we have powders like Rule 1's got one called Burn. There is Bucked Up called LFG.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we used to sell one called 212 Thermo by Axe and Sledge, but we're out of that one right now. But all those contain grains of paradise, and it's a rush. Like as far as like it gives you like cold sweats. Like you'll get done doing your cardio and you're just pouring a sweat, and you're freezing at the same time. You want to go get in a hot shower. It's weird. Yeah,
I mean, some people might be all for that. I'm not sure about myself. I do like a lot of caffeine, but that's a little much for me. But I do have a hard time sweating, and like my cardio sessions, I usually don't sweat a whole heck of a lot, but like sweat, even strength training sessions, I don't a lot. I don't think I would want to do that.
Another cool episode would be just a highlight of some of our personal favorite products we use.
Would love that.
Name brand stuff, whether it's food, supplements.
Would love that.
All that. Just kind of go down each of our favorite in each category. That'd be kind of cool.
I freaking love Outshine and Halo Top and all those good things. So we got some good treats, literally.
Yeah.
Like we share some, because we've been doing this so long, there's so many things up our sleeve that we can share with people who might just not know about it.
For sure.
That sounds like a good episode to me.
Cool. Well, like always, appreciate you guys tuning in, and we're going to always drop links in the episode on how to get in touch with me and Katie, how to book a eVolt body scan at Spartan, and all that other goodies. And we'll continue to maybe even put together some like little PDF guide that you can download from each podcast. Like when we drop that one of our favorite products, let's put together like a full color, like little Canva, and where you can just click it and download it and have that visuals.
I love that. I think that's
little grocery list you can download.
Very helpful.
Let's make it happen.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.